Welcome to Retro Video Playback and to episode 27 of Tape Talk Tuesday. This week I'm taking a look at Showgirls on VHS. Showgirls, originally released to theaters nearly 30 years ago on September 22nd, 1995, was released on VHS in January 1996. Despite being a total flop at the box office, earning back less than its budget, Showgirls went on to sell very well on home media, and in the last 29 years has had many iterations on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. Showgirls is an infamous movie, defining the word perhaps better than any other major movie ever. I think by now, 30 years since its release, the universal knowledge of how over-the-top and cheesy the movie was has faded a bit, but it will forever be known as the movie that took itself so seriously while coming off so unserious. The movie's star, Elizabeth Berkley, was coming off a long run on the teen sitcom Saved by the Bell, and in doing Showgirls was looking to change her image. Unfortunately for her, it wasn't quite the Oscar-winning performance she'd hoped for. With that said, I genuinely like this movie, and I don't think I'm alone given the cult following that it has. There's no doubt that Elizabeth Berkley's acting throughout the movie is excessive and outrageous, but as someone who didn't see this movie for the first time until I was in my 30s, I actually like watching it, and I don't think it's a bad movie. Like, yes, some of it is bad, but I also think that it gets more grief overall than it deserves.
It was a bad idea.
Chill, okay?
I'm about to make an insane comparison, so I'll ask for your forgiveness before I even say it. But Showgirls is like The Godfather Part 3. Both are movies where a lot of people talk about them being bad movies, but those that are saying this haven't actually seen the movies in decades, if ever, and are simply going based off of the general sentiment that they've seen online. Whereas in reality, in my opinion, both movies are actually good. Okay, that's the first and the last time I'll compare Showgirls to any of the Godfather movies, although the first Godfather does have some Las Vegas scenes, so there may be more parallels here than we want to admit. Showgirls has a few different covers on VHS, basically alternates of one another. You've got this version that features a close-up angle of Elizabeth Berkley showing her chest and the lower half of her face. And then you've got this version with a zoomed-out version of the same shot where her leg is also visible. Then there's this later release from 2000, which I don't have a copy of, that uses the same shot of Elizabeth Berkley as the others, but pulled out even further so that it shows her entire face. I don't like this design as much because something just feels off when you can see her whole face. I don't mean that the way it sounds. It just makes her look like one long leg with a face. It's only showing a little bit more of her, but that little bit extra just throws the whole image off for me. Looking at the two versions of Showgirls that I have on VHS, the closer shot version is the director's R-rated version, and the further shot copy is the original NC-17 version. However, because this NC-17 version was released in Canada, and NC-17 is an American rating, it's actually also rated R. So both of these versions are rated R, but each R rating means something different. Let me explain that a bit. According to the Motion Picture Association's film rating system in the United States, a movie with an R rating in the US means that anyone under 17 requires an accompanying parent or adult guardian. Meanwhile, an NC-17 rating in the US means that no one 17 or under may be admitted to or see a movie. In Canada, the rating system has an R rating, but it's the equivalent to NC-17, while the rating 18A, where persons under 18 years of age must be accompanied by an adult, is equivalent to the American R rating, the only difference being 17 versus 18 years old. Somewhat confusing, but fortunately, in the end, it's basically all meaningless. Both copies of Showgirls on VHS that I have follow a very similar layout, with the same featured items appearing on both copies. Each copy has one unique item. The R-rated version has the pink banner at the top, noting that it's the director's R-rated version, while on the NC-17 version at the bottom right is something that I haven't seen prominently noted on a front cover before. It reads, "You must be 18 or older to view this cassette." Typically, you just have the movie's rating on the lower side on the back that notes this restriction, so I find this notation kind of interesting. On the R-rated version, Showgirls is all one word in the lower section of the cover. Above the title is the tagline, "Leave your inhibitions at the door," and a Paul Verhoeven film. Below the title is another tagline, "The show is about to begin." For the NC-17 version, everything is shifted up a bit, with the movie title Showgirls on either side of Elizabeth Berkley, show on the left and girls on the right. Between these two covers, I prefer the NC-17 version. Having the image of Elizabeth Berkley extended to include her leg feels more Showgirls-y and Vegas-y. It also hints at what you'll find if you watch the movie. The top and the spines have the same Showgirls logo from the front cover, the one-word version. At the top of the spines is an MGM UA home media logo, appropriate given the Vegas theme of this movie, and at the bottom is the various icons. The only difference between the spines on these two versions is their unique VHS numbers. The back of the boxes gives us a bit more of a peek into the movie. These two copies are virtually identical, with a slight difference in color, though that could just be due to the different aging of these tapes and a slightly different font. Running along the left side are images. The first is from a dance performance sequence with Elizabeth Berkley front and center. The second is an image of Elizabeth Berkley again, this time with Kyle MacLachlan. And a third, larger image of Elizabeth Berkley on stage making eyes with the camera. Other than the subtle color and font differences I noted, there are two other differences between the backsides of these VHS copies. First is the movie's runtime. The director's R-rated version of Showgirls is 3 minutes shorter than the other version at 2 hours and 8 minutes, and 2 hours and 11 minutes, respectively. The other difference is, as discussed earlier, the movie's ratings. We've got the R rating on one, and the NC-17 rating on the other, with a Canadian R rating sticker as well. On the tapes, we've got some similar vertical paper labels that contain a lot of technical information. The director's R-rated version has some silver on the label, and it identifies itself as the director's cut R-rated version, along with its adjusted runtime, closed out with an FBI warning. Then on the NC-17 version, or Canadian R-rated version, unlike the VHS sleeve that would have been printed in the US, and that's why there's a sticker on it for the R rating, this label was printed specifically for Canada, indicated by the spelling of color, and an international agreement and national law warning rather than an FBI warning. So, we've got 2 copies of Showgirls on VHS, a third that I don't have, along with endless other versions on other formats. A movie that was originally and theatrically an absolute mess eventually found its home on home media, appreciated for the absolute chaotic movie that it is. I've seen this movie a few times now, all within the last couple of years, and every time I watch it, I have fun, which I can't say about all movies, or even a lot of movies. I enjoy a lot of other movies, but it's actually kind of rare to truly have fun with a movie, and Showgirls brings that every time.
Thanks. I bought it at Versailles. In the forum?
Oh yeah, Versailles. I love Versailles.
With that, we find ourselves at the end of our discussion of Showgirls on VHS, and the end of episode 27 of Tape Talk Tuesday. Thanks for watching Retro Video Playback.